Trump, right? Anybody who decides to elevate themselves to even pretend to be on par with Trump, Trump eventually gets rid of. And so I don't give this bromance much time. Katie, the difference is Elon Musk, who's not elected to anything, who's not appointed to anything through a confirmation process, is basically calling the shots and was calling the shots last week. He came out first to scuttle this bipartisan deal.
I think it's interesting that this lady really pressed on the fact that no one elected Elon Musk to be a part of the administration, but nobody elected Kamala Harris, and she was going to vote for her.
Thank you.
She was. They nullified a whole primary and just anointed this woman without any of the Democrats voting for them.
Hi everybody, welcome back to our channel. Kara's wearing her Christmas shirt. We're feeling very Christmassy tomorrow. This is going up on Tuesday, so tomorrow is going to Wednesday is Christmas.
So all the pagan people are going to tell me I'm pagan.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Let me tell you.
We don't care. Jerry.
And that I
Celebrating
I like Christmas. Okay, I do. I like Christmas. I love Christmas. I also like Christmas trees, and that's not pagan. It's not the Druids
I like Christmas music.
Right.
I like Christmas music.
Right. I don't worship trees. I worship God.
Yeah.
That's just a decoration.
I
do love Christmas. I love Christmas music. I like everything about Christmas. Santa Claus.
I mean, like, who doesn't love
church,
listening to
God, all of it.
It interests me how when people get really weird with Christmas when they do that. There's, you guys, Santa is, come on.
Y'all can say what y'all want. Y'all can never stop me from celebrating Christmas. I'm just never going to do it.
I know.
But yeah, Merry Christmas, Clark.
Yeah, Kara has her Christmas shirt on.
I wish I lived in a farm. I'm trying to, go towards that way.
Oh my God.
I wish I'd be rolling in on this truck into a farm away from everybody. But yeah, Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yeah, Merry Christmas to you guys.
And not Happy Holidays, Merry Christmas.
Yes.
And the funny thing is that we always said Happy Holidays.
I know.
But when they said we had to say it,
it was like,
that all started in the Clinton era. Because they wanted to make everything, that was the first PC culture.
Yeah.
Make sure you say things the right way. You don't want to offend anyone.
Right.
And so everybody started saying Happy Holidays because then you can celebrate Kwanzaa and Hanukkah. And I'm saying Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
I celebrate Christmas. And that's it.
So Turning Point had a big this, I think they call it America Fest or something, America Fest or something like that. It's pretty funny. Anyways, and Trump was obviously there. I saw a clip from CNN, and they were talking about, because you know what it is, the left, all of a sudden, left-wing media, they started calling Elon President Elon. Right? And they're trying to basically just try and drive a wedge there, between Trump and Elon, and trying to make it look like, Trump's, is not running the show. Elon is actually running the show. It's all stemmed from this government shutdown, this whole spending bill that Elon and Vivek were against, because the spending bill was ridiculous, because that bill was 1,500 pages. You know how they do bills, you guys, we said this before, that the bill will be called something, the spending bill, and then inside the bill there's always things they tack on in there. And Vivek there's a video of him, I'll put a clip of him talking about that.
Congress is about to pass a bill that blows away your taxpayer money, but they made it over 1,500 pages long so you wouldn't read it. I did you a favor. I read it for you. It's supposed to be about keeping government operations open and providing disaster relief aid to hurricane victims, which I'm sympathetic to. But if you read the bill carefully, it contains pay raises for members of Congress, and I'm not making this up, an expansion of their federal health benefits. It contains all kinds of special interests and pork funding, including opening up a new stadium in Washington, D.C. It renews the Global Engagement Center, which is a key node of the censorship industrial complex. And the worst part is, they didn't want you to know about any of it, and that's why they made this a last-minute jam job. The reason I'm co-heading DOGE is I think we need outsiders to bring actual accountability to Washington, D.C. So feel free to call your congressman and let him know how you feel about it.
But Vivek read that bill, the 1,500-page bill, and in there was a bunch of nonsense, COVID relief stuff that we're not even in that right now. It's not necessary right now. Was the big one was giving raises and bonuses to the Congress members that are already making a ridiculous amount of money.
Yeah, you run the country and you get a raise.
Right.
Okay.
So Elon and Vivek are part of DOGE, was the Department of Government Efficiency. So their job is to make sure the government is spending their money right and being efficient on spending and cutting things where they need to cut it. So government is not used to this because this is that's a new thing that Trump made up, right?
I think
The Doge,
so. Yeah,
I think he
Doge
made
is
that up.
something he made up.
Yeah. And so basically just seeing how the government, they're efficient on it. And so they weren't, and this bill was ridiculous stuff. And Vivek read it and said, this is what's in there, just part of what's in there. And what they do is they try to push these bills forward during the holiday season, right before Christmas. So Congress will have to be kind of, in a way, I would say bullied, but kind of pressured to just go ahead and vote for the bill and move on. Well, no, not this time around. Trump, they're like, no, we're going to dissect this better, and see where we can cut some things out here. And they're just mad at the transparency, which is what you brought up earlier. The transparency in this presidency is going to be wonderful because he's already being very transparent. But so anyways, they were trying to do that and they threatened a government shutdown and, whatever. And so because of this, they're saying that Elon is like taking the reins and he's like this acting president or whatever. I'm like, no, his job was this is his part of the job, was to make sure things are being run efficiently. And,
You're right. I mean, I just think the Democrats lost their party and they're just trying to find ways to get their audience back.
I know.
You know what I mean?
It's
to
true.
me, because to me, that's the only thing I think it could be.
What else could be?
They're mad that he's being transparent, but honestly, if they look at the map, they really lost a lot of people.
Yeah.
A lot of people either voted for Trump that were Democrats or they didn't vote at all. And so now they got to figure out some way to get their party back. And the only way they can think is by the way Trump ran his campaign was he ran it with some strength.
Right.
And so they're realizing now the country doesn't like weak people. So now what we have to do is kind of strong arm the strong arm.
Yeah. And it's
by
not
making him look certain way and making it look like he's doing. They're doing all they can do. Trying to say Elon, if they're doing that, saying Elon wants to take over. They know that's absurd. It's not going to happen. I think to me, they're just grasping at straws now, trying to figure out. And then the rest of the people, all the people like Charlemagne the God and Van Jones, they're all now saying, "Oh, Trump is so smart and he's this." They're all trying to save their careers because they realize that the audience the people in the countries just did not agree with anything they were saying, and they're just realizing that.
Yeah.
So what do you do? This is what they did with Matt Gaetz,
and try to build a wedge in between them. Is what you're trying to do, and hoping. I think they're hoping that Trump will have a fragile ego and fall for this. He obviously will address it because this is ridiculous. But mainstream media has been going around on MSNBC, CNN anchors, on CBS as well. And they're jokingly saying this, but they mean it. They're trying to put it in people's ear. They're jokingly calling him President Elon. And they know that's disrespectful or whatever, right? And anyways, I was watching these two ladies talk about this on CNN, and it was just kind of pathetic to hear. So anyways, I'm going to show you this clip real quick of CNN talk about this, and we'll get into it.
The incoming president also giving his take on his relationship with Elon Musk and addressed a persistent talking point among Democrats that Musk is acting and will act as a shadow president.
The new one is President Trump has ceded the presidency to Elon Musk. No, that's not happening. But Elon's done an amazing job. Isn't it nice to have smart people that we can rely on?
In just a moment, but let's start there where the president-elect kind of dropped off talking about Elon Musk. Katie, I just want to get your reaction to his take there on what's being said about Musk.
Well, it's great to see both you ladies again. This is, of course, the latest talking point we're seeing coming out of the Democratic Party, which is highly ironic, considering the Wall Street Journal report that dropped this week talking about how President Biden has been struggling to do the job since very early in his presidency. So apparently now it's a point of concern for Democrats, the idea that there might be someone other than the elected president trying to call shots when that's exactly what's been happening for the last 4 years. I would love to know who's been the shadow president of our country for the last 4 years.
And Julie, I just want to get your thoughts on it as well.
Well, it sounds like this is getting a little bit to Trump, right? Anybody who decides to elevate themselves to even pretend to be on par with Trump, Trump eventually gets rid of. And so I don't give this bromance much time. Katie, the difference is Elon Musk, who's not elected to anything, who's not appointed to anything through a confirmation process, is basically calling the shots and was calling the shots last week. He came out first to scuttle this bipartisan deal that led to a tremendous amount of chaos. And you have the Speaker of the House himself acknowledging that he was continuously talking to Elon Musk throughout this whole process. Who is Elon Musk but an unelected billionaire who has his own interests with this budget and who obviously, as a result of those interests, decided to scuttle a deal that would somehow, shock or rebel shocks, impact his business in China, among other things. And so, look, this is Trump reminding people and reminding Musk, I think, that he's paying attention. So very clearly, this is getting to Trump. And I'm glad. I'm going to sit back, as I keep saying, and drink my martini and watch this chaos unfold, because this is what the Republicans asked for, and they're getting it.
Yeah, I guess, Katie, I am curious what you think about Julie's point there, that Trump felt the need to talk about this. I mean, he's known for paying attention about what's being said. He watches news, he reads, he's paying attention to kind of what's out there in the ether. And clearly, this was something he felt like he needed to address.
Well, I mean, he knows we're talking about it here.
Right.
It's really become a talking point that the Democrats are trying to push. So he's preemptively going to address it. That's the exact same thing Speaker Johnson did with his gaggle with reporters after the bill was passed in Congress. This is something people are asking questions, so they're going to preemptively answer that. But I would go back to, Julie, you said that no one elected Elon Musk. No one elected the White House staff that have been running the show while President Biden has been asleep at the wheel, essentially, for the last 4 years. So, I mean, you can talk about now apparently the influence of billionaires is a concern. It isn't a concern when George Soros puts a lot of money into electing people all across the country. It isn't a concern when Mark Zuckerberg wanted to get involved in elections. It wasn't a concern when Jack Dorsey owned Twitter. Apparently now that it's X and somebody Elon Musk, it is a concern. So there's definitely seems to be a double standard at play here.
The next time, Katie, that George Soros or Mark Zuckerberg or Jack Dorsey picks up the phone and tanks a bipartisan negotiated bill, you let me know. That's never happened. George Soros has never, to my knowledge, picked up the phone and called then Speaker Nancy Pelosi and said, this is what you have to do. Nobody's even alleged that he's done that. This is quite different. This is an unelected billionaire who is literally calling the shots and telling Republicans what they're going to vote for and what they're not going to vote for. And they acquiesce. They actually acquiesce to him. And so that's the part to me that makes no sense. Nobody elected Elon Musk. He came out first, tanked this bill, then Trump belatedly jumped in as a Me Too kind of, I also agree with this. But this was Elon Musk's mess that he made. And that's something that the Speaker of the House acknowledged.
It's not a mess,
You have members of Congress literally acknowledging they're consulting with Elon Musk before making decisions. That's nothing that we've ever seen before, at least in my lifetime.
Well, I think one person's called.
Go ahead.
I'll say one person's calling the shots is another person's call to action. Elon Musk put out the word and the people responded and melted the phone lines. And look, if Taylor Swift had put out a tweet and the Swifties had melted the Capitol switchboard, which they crashed Ticketmaster, I have no doubt that the Swifties could crash the Capitol switchboard. We probably wouldn't be having the same kind of conversation. We'd be like, look at democracy in action. Look, people are motivated. This is exciting.
Yep.
So I would say it's not Elon Musk,
and
it's not even what he's doing. It's the results people don't like. They didn't like that a, quote, bipartisan bill that was really just a giveaway. It was Santa Claus had come to Washington and everybody was getting what they wanted. That got tanked, and that's what people are upset about.
I think it's interesting, this lady really pressed on the fact that no one elected Elon Musk to be a part of the administration, but nobody elected Kamala Harris, and she was going to vote for her.
Thank you.
She was. They nullified a whole primary, and just anointed this woman without any of the Democrats voting for them. I think it's also interesting that the Democrats have superdelegates. So if they don't like who the people voted for, the Democrats vote for, they can overthrow the will of the public to put in their own candidate, which is what they were doing with Bernie Sanders. I find it so interesting that these people all of a sudden are caring about ethics, like care about people getting voted in when the person that was their candidate didn't even get voted in.
Yeah.
And she was more than willing to vote in this woman, probably because she is a woman, not for any other reason, knowing that no one voted for her in a primary.
If Trump hired someone to do the Department of blank, that person that's the head of the Department of blank is going to be the one to speak forward. Trump is going to be the one who delegates the work to those people. He, like every other president in every country in the world, has to have a group of people, right, that are running different parts of the administration. That is not new. Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy are in charge of this efficiency thing. Who else is going to talk about it besides Elon and Vivek? If anyone's going to give us any transparency with this bill that ended up being trashed by Elon because of the spending problems, it was like Katie said, it was a Christmas gift to themselves.
Honestly, I just think they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it. I mean, you were just going to vote for a woman who was not elected in a primary. You defended and voted for a man who has dementia for the last 4 years. You weren't mad at that, but you're mad at Elon Musk.
Right.
You know, everybody in politics is not elected.
Nope.
Some people are, but not all of them. Some people are appointed. But presidents are elected. So the fact that are elected in a primary and in an election, in a general election. And I just think it's so interesting when all of a sudden these people try to play it off. I mean, play it off like they've got some higher moral ground. And this is what Democrats do. They think that they are like morally better. You know what I mean? Because they don't have limits. You can just do whatever you want until they get faced with their own principles. Elon Musk is a Democrat, though. They would love the most richest man in the world, especially since they have George Soros on their side and Bill Gates. They're fine with billionaires. But they're and they always, he's this billionaire. He's got this billionaire. It's like, you guys have tons of billionaires on your side, and most of them probably gave Kamala Harris the money that she spent on celebrities. Right. The amount pay them to stomp for her. They're really, because like I was saying, they're really upset at his influence. He has X. Obviously, you guys all know Elon owns X, and because of that, he has a major influence. And because he has that influence, we're seeing something we've never seen before, and that is there are people in the government, which would be Elon, and we got Kosh and all these people, right? Vivek and JD Vance. I mean, like all of these people that he's appointed. They're being very transparent with us, with the voters. And this is actually something that's never quite been done before in this way. Because when that bill came out, the first thing that Vivek did was read the bill. And he told us what was in it. When, most Americans, we have a lot to do. Like a lot of Americans just living their lives. We don't have time to read a 1,500-page bill. If you're not a political strategist and you do this on TV or on YouTube or whatever, you're not really going to be reading through that thing. The common, normal person is not going to be reading that, right? And so they banked on that for so many years, right? They banked on that. And now what's happening is that they're saying, no, we're going to show you exactly what's going on in the government to the best of our ability when major things like this come up. And what they're really upset at is that they let the cat out of the bag and they told us what was in that bill. And once again, the government is spending money like it's, like they printed it in the basement. It's ridiculous to me. I mean, if I were a Democrat, I'd be upset to know that they're all getting raises, but they all were trying to get raises when they have destroyed the country. Yeah. They think that they actually believe that they deserve a raise when they have completely destroyed the country from top to bottom. Yep. And you still, in regular world, you get fired. But when you're in politics, you get a raise. And we haven't got a raise in a long time. Well, you shouldn't get a raise now. You guys are public servants. Right. Why are you millionaires? You work for us. Unless you were a millionaire before you come in, which a lot of them aren't. They're millionaires after. I mean, wouldn't say AOC is worth $1 million. Yeah, how'd that happen? Yeah, she was a bartender. Overnight. But she became a millionaire when she became a politician. These are public servants. These are not, these people work for us. It's not the other way around. You know what I mean? And so I don't know if Trump is an older man. He's already had, a fantastic life. He doesn't even got to do this. He could have literally just sit back in his chair and just play golf, fun and play golf. But he didn't do that because he cares about the country. I truly do believe that. Yeah. And I think that he doesn't want to see, especially since he has kids and grandkids, his country go down, and then they don't have the chance that he had, even though he's a billionaire. You can't. All of these things that have happened in the last 4 years with Biden and Kamala Harris, are the reason why they lost. Right. And they still don't know what to do, except for every once in a while, I guess, poke the bear.
That's what they're doing.
You know what I mean?
That's what they're doing. I just thought
and make you full of yourself.
I think it's a foolish. I was about to say that. I think this is a foolish move to even do this. It's not landing. That's another part of it. It's not even landing. Like on social media, I'm talking about even with lefty people. They're just kind of like, we got to come up with something else because, you know, we know that President Trump is the president. So there's that part. You know what I mean? Like, I don't, what's that, what are you going to do with that? And it's not going to, you're not going to do anything with it. You're hoping, you're just banking on the fact, maybe if he would get upset at it. But, you know, like you were saying before, like, but why would you not want a smart, you know, like arguably genius man like Elon? I mean, I know it's arguable, right? But this man has invented some things. He's done some things, right? Why would you not want that person by your side? Why would you not want that? That doesn't make any sense. Elon was, when he came into, when he bought Twitter, he got rid of, what is it? I think he got 80% of people. He just started firing people and letting people go because he realized that you can run Twitter minus 80% of these people. We need about 20. We can run this Twitter.
Which is what Trump really talked about before he got elected about Elon. He's like, the idea that this man goes into Twitter, buys it, changes the name, and then literally was able to cut 80% of his, you know, his staff that weren't doing anything, by the way. Nope. Did you see those Twitter? Did you see those?
I know.
I mean, Matt Walsh did a video 2-3 years ago where a lot of these Twitter employees were just showing what they do at Twitter. And they're walking around, they got buffets, and then they go get their nails done in Twitter. They bring their animals there. They're all just sitting around. And then I go to a meeting. And then I just go back to my desk, and then they're playing games. They weren't doing anything. So when he went in, he realized they weren't doing anything, and he cut them. Yeah. And then he made money because he cut off the fat, which is basically what he's doing now. Him and Vivek. But I can maybe understand why you don't want billionaires in high places because people feel weird about billionaires. But you know, only. If you're going to also have George Soros and what's his name, Bill Gates. And then that other one, the one that eats McDonald's every morning. What's his name? Yeah, Warren Buffett. Those are all billionaires. You don't care about those people. You don't seem to care about those unelected people having influence on democratic politics. Yeah. But you all of a sudden have a big problem with this one.
And how dare this Elon, how dare him, this billionaire guy, come in here and tell the public and the voters about how our government's spending money? How dare him do that? How dare him call that out? No, that's exactly what we need. So this billionaire that everyone's so, the left is so afraid of, they're really just afraid of his influence, by the way, but they're so afraid of, it's only because he's going to be able, he's known for cutting the fat. He's known for downsizing and and being efficient. He's known for that and successful, you know, and I feel like when I look at stuff like these, I'm like, look, guys, this is a good thing. It's not a bad thing, you know? And the good part, I think, about his administration, I mean, I know he's not president yet, you know, that doesn't happen, you know, until next month, but I'm just saying that it's looking good so far. And I feel like he's appointed the right people. And I also think that Elon has, I don't know if the word's proven, but he has shown, even within his own business, of his integrity within the business so far.
They're just waiting for him to make a mistake. Trump will make a mistake.
He will make a mistake, yeah.
Because he will. He will do something. No one goes 4 years out spotless. Everybody makes a mistake or does something wrong. That's the name of the game. No one in business anywhere in life has never been a part of a business, an establishment, a politics, anything you do for a living, you're going to make a mistake and you're not going to do it right and you're not going to be popular for a minute. So, and they're just waiting for that moment because that's where they're going to come in and they're going to try to get their party back. And they're waiting for him to do that. That is it's scary to know that the most richest man in the world that, you know, is doing SpaceX and is really doing innovation stuff is on the side of your opponent. Yeah. It's weird to know that someone like Joe Rogan, who's a lefty, is now supporting Trump. It's weird to see someone from a Kennedy,
RFK,
established Democratic family, has now sided with, you know, Donald Trump. You know what I mean? And that freaks them out when they see that that none of this really worked, what they were doing. And so they have to grasp at straws. But what they are waiting for is for him to do one something wrong. To get something wrong. Somebody mess up in his administration, something. But so far, nothing has happened, and so they have to pick anything at this point.
Transparency is key, and we're getting that. And they hate that because the government prior really likes to do things in the dark because that's how they get all of their, so that's how they start taking without us even knowing.
The Inflation Reduction Act was not, it wasn't reducing inflation.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was increasing.
They say these things like this, they give you these names, bills, and they label it one thing,
right?
But because they know you won't really read it,
yeah.
but you will look at the headlines, because unfortunately Americans tend to look at the headlines.
Yeah.
The only reason Trump really got through is because really online media, they were able to go in depth with him and talk to him, and then he himself, he actually went on podcasts and talked to people, him and JD Vance. So to me, he was able to open up the party, which, to be honest with you, some Republicans don't like, because they agree with Democrats on a lot of things.
Well, even that spending bill, there were I think 40 Republicans that agreed with that bill. 40 Republicans that agreed with that bill, and it's because they're going to be getting something too. So look. It's insane to me what they're trying to do there, but I don't have a problem with what's going on here. By the way, that bill was 1,500 pages. There's a picture on Twitter, or I'm sorry, picture on X, where they show what the actual bill, how big the bill was, the paper was, compared to what Trump got it down to. I think 100 plus pages. I think it was 120 pages or something like that. And the difference, I'll put the picture up here, but the difference between the two is hilarious, because all of that BS in that bill can be limited to just a book, just a small little book, of what we're doing here. And I also believe that a lot of these bills, because they do so many attachments on these bills, which we talk about several times, all these different attachments they do within the bill, makes me want it to be like more single issue bills, so we can see what the actual spending is for this one issue, as opposed to calling it something and having 1,000 things in there that are nonsense, nonsense and overspending. I just think that we should break these bills down into talking about the issues within the bill, not just calling it one thing and attaching everything to it. So, alrighty guys, so let's know what you think about the subject. Leave some comments below about this. We'd love to hear your thoughts on it as always. And again, Merry Christmas, you guys.
Yeah, I really want to thank you guys because I don't know what we started off with, but now we have almost 53,000 subscribers. So I really do thank you guys for subscribing to us and for listening to us, because I think when you're a YouTuber, that's what you want.
Yeah.
You want to be able to, that's why you do this.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So I'm so grateful for people who not only subscribe to us, but view our views, like our stuff, and then also they share it, because a lot of people share. Danielle was on, we don't get a lot of traffic on Instagram, but Danielle was like, look how many people shared our videos, and that really does help, because you're giving people a viewing of us that wouldn't otherwise see us probably. So I do thank everybody who is it's Christmas. It's the gift that keeps on giving. You guys are the gift that keeps on giving.
Really, a Merry Christmas to you all and your family, and that's it. God bless. Bye.
Bye.